TG Geeks, episode 352, November 15th, 2021. From Stage to Screen and Copper Queen. Hello and welcome to another webcast from tggeeks.com, where Ben and Keith, the Two Gay Geeks, talk about all aspects of geekdom and nerdery. I got lost in the first sentence. Sci-fi, comics, film, horror genre, you name it, we talk about it. I'm Keith Lane. We're coming to you from TG Squared Studios in lovely Phoenix, Arizona.
And I'm Ben Raggington, coming to you from gorgeous weather now that fall is here, Phoenix, Arizona.
Exactly. Hopefully I won't be able to, I'll be able to multitask a little bit better here in the rest of this episode. Let's get on with it.
Prepare for hyperdrive.
Meanwhile, in the Hall of Episodes, the Two Gay Geeks are discussing this.
Well, we have a really exciting interview for you today. We have Crystal Manich, who was originally supposed to be the director of the stage performance of Copper Queen opera, and they turned that into a film, and she was the director.
I'm glad they kept her on.
Film. Oh my gosh!
And as you listen to the interview, you'll understand why.
Exactly. We'll have our birthday shout-outs and our featured podcast of the week and some feedback on our regular shout-outs. Maybe, I doubt that we'll have something in the second segment.
I don't think we'll have time.
We talked a while to Crystal, and the conversation was actually just beginning to ramp up when we had to cut it off. It's too bad.
Yeah.
Weekly recap and our regular shout-outs. So let's get on with it. We have a special treat for you this time on TG Geeks Webcast.
It's a special treat for us, at least.
Absolutely. We welcome to the microphone Crystal Manich. She is a stage and film director, and most specifically, recently, the Copper Queen. Welcome to the show, Crystal.
Thank you so much. I'm really happy to be here.
Oh, we're happy to have you here.
We are so excited for you to be here. We want to get your perspective on the Copper Queen. You know we love it, so.
Yes, I do.
But
maybe we should talk a little. Give a quick. What's the Copper Queen for anybody who has not listened to past episodes?
We'll get there. We want to find out who Crystal Manich is first, and then we'll talk about the Copper Queen. So, give us kind of the elevator pitch of your life and how you got into stage and film directing and the theater just in general. What was it about the theater that excited you, and how long have you been doing this? Probably since you were like 3 or something, but
not quite that early, but I did, my mom raised me on films from the 40s, 50s, and 60s when I was really little. So I was watching, all the greats, the golden age of Hollywood films from a very young age. And when I was 10, I noticed Hitchcock. So I was hooked on Hitchcock from a very young age. It was the first time that I had, I guess you could say that I noticed what a director did in terms of camera movement and things like that. And I was just so compelled by the technique and the storytelling. But, at the time, you don't know what that is at 10 years old. But later on, you can recognize that that's what that is. But for me, it was just exciting to see Psycho,
Yeah,
and I didn't close the shower curtain for weeks after that.
Wow.
I told my mom, I said, I don't know why you let me watch that age 10, but whatever.
Yeah.
Well, I can appreciate that to a certain level because my mom was a huge fan of Hitchcock. She loved his storytelling. Yeah. And Psycho is like the go-to one, but at least she let me wait till I was like 15 before she showed it to me. 10. Wow. Okay.
Well, you do know that.
I don't think she realized. It was going to be so intense. But I do think that when we look at that film now, we really can appreciate where the horror genre really came from.
Oh, absolutely.
And I think it started there in 1961.
Absolutely.
And I'm from Pittsburgh. George Romero was obviously a huge hometown name, and I got to meet George Romero many years ago when I was in college and talked to him about Night of the Living Dead, and because there were so many Pittsburgh actors in that film that were still around 20 years ago, and so it was I just feel like all of that stuff just sort of popped up into my life just peripherally, at least. But I really discovered the theater when I was 12. And I think the first thing that really got me was the idea that this magical thing could happen live and that it wasn't, on film. It was something that you were experiencing in the moment. Fantastic, mostly scene changes were my big passion, and but obviously good acting.
Right.
And so I started acting in school plays and things like that at that point, and never stopped. And I thought I was going to be an actress. I really worked hard on that. I was in high school. I was cast in a lot of things, and I was told that I was good or whatever, but my high school drama teacher said to me when I was 16, she said, you're a really great actress, and one of the best ones that I've had come through the program. And she said, but I think you're a leader. I think you're a director. And I was like, what? It just didn't even occur to me, because she was the director, know, and I just didn't really see the significance of what she was telling me. And I said, I don't really understand what you're saying. And she said, I'm going to give you a scene from the musical to direct. So it was Fiddler on the Roof. And she said, I'm just going to give you the scene and you have carte blanche. You just do whatever you want. I'm not even going to be at the rehearsal. And it was double cast. So I was all of a sudden directing my classmates in a scene from Fiddler. And I remember prepping that thing for like a week. It's like a 3-page scene when Mottel and Seitel are setting the Sabbath table. And I planned the whole thing and diagrammed it out. And then when I got there, I just started having spontaneous reactions to who they were as actors. And it just clicked. And I'll never forget that moment. And I thought, oh my God, this is what I'm meant to do. And
wow,
that was an amazing moment. And then I started going to the theater and looking at things differently at that point, because I was thinking more like a director. And that's when I went to my first opera. And I have to say, I didn't like the staging at all of the opera. I thought it was La Boheme, and I just loved the music, but I didn't love what I was seeing. And I thought, well, I'm going to fix that. And that sort of was what started my journey. So it was really, I was very young and very determined. And then I went to Carnegie Mellon University School of Drama, where I got I was in the directing program there, and also got my master's degree in arts management from Carnegie. And then went on and started assistant directing opera, and I actually toured with Cirque du Soleil for a short time in Brazil. I was assistant artistic director there, and that's really that experience for the 7 months I was there was really the definitive point for me, where my directorial eye just got sharper, because there were so many things that I had to learn what to look for in the continuity of the show.
Exactly.
And that, and so when I came back to opera after that, my eye was just a lot sharper. So, and then with the film stuff, it's something that really started coming back to me. I just thought, I had wielded a camera quite a bit in high school, and I really was missing it. So I did go to a film workshop in 2018 for 6 weeks. It was like an adult film camp.
Yeah.
And
you said that during
made a short film.
the Copper Queen, you went to an adult filmmaking class.
Oh, yes.
And I said, I want to see those adult films that she made.
Yeah, it didn't quite come out right maybe at that dinner.
It was, I knew what you meant, but it was just hilarious to me. But I have a warped sense of humor.
Yeah, Keith and I both caught that right off the bat and thought, I don't think that's what she meant to say.
Oh my gosh! But it was really fun, and it was there that I thought, okay, I really want to get back into this. You know, I never set out to just be an opera director. Right. You know, I've done I think 70 productions at this point. You know, as a director, and I love all the experiences I've had, but I have been thinking more about, you know, how can opera benefit from the film medium? That's sort of what I moved into. And then COVID happened, and then this project, The Copper Queen, you know, which was meant to be for stage, turned into a film project. So that's where we are.
Isn't it sort of like a marriage of two worlds for you, I would think, given because you're approaching, I mean, as far as your growing up experience, I mean, you're coming from quite an interesting variety of backgrounds. You know, your exposure to opera, your exposure to movies, your exposure to theater. You know, you're bringing all these things with you, and then all of a sudden, it's like it all comes to this beautiful conjunction of this opportunity. What was your reaction when you realized, oh my gosh, the Copper Queen? I'm now making an opera movie. I mean, this must have been like a zenith. You know, or something like that. I mean, talk about the ultimate goal.
It was a dream come true, really. I mean, that's all I can say. Right. I mean, it was exactly that, just a synthesis of everything that I've been thinking about, you know, in my head and working on for years, and then suddenly, you know, it was able to come to fruition.
Right. And you were originally engaged to direct the opera itself, correct?
Yes. In early 2019. They asked me if I wanted to direct this world premiere, and in fall of 2020, and I said, of course.
Sure.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I haven't done that many world premieres, so it's anytime they come around, I don't hesitate. So I, you know, was working on it with my design team, and for you know, a year, and then COVID happened, and we weren't sure if it was going to happen, if it was going to get postponed a year. And Joe Spector from Arizona Opera said, you know, what if we turn this into a film project? Because he didn't want to delay it anymore.
Right.
This opera had been commissioned in 2015. So he just thought, you know, he just didn't want to wait to put it out into the world anymore, because it was ready to go. And, you know, the pivoting to the film project sort of took a few different there were a few different iterations of it, but just because when it started, you know, in June, they said, okay, we're going to shoot this in August, you know, just with the singers on the set in a theater. And then it developed into more than that, because the project kept getting pushed back, and I kept pushing the envelope a bit, and no one stopped me. So I thought, well,
that's great.
I'm just going to turn this into and also I have to give a lot of credit to Manley Films, which is the film company with whom we collaborated. You know, they had such great people who were supporting this project, and they had a real cinematographer, they had a real first assistant director, they had all the positions, camera people, the equipment, and it was like, we got to take advantage of this. If we're collaborating with them, let's just do it. And and they wanted it as much as I did. So I really think it was just a really great marriage in that way.
So for those folks that our listeners that haven't listened to any of the podcasts where we talked to Clinton John or talked about Copper Queen, tell us about what is Copper Queen about, and then how you approached that.
Copper Queen is about, takes place at a real hotel that exists in Bisbee, Arizona, which is South Arizona near the border. And it was a copper mining town. And this was a hotel that had it still has a reputation because of the haunting of the hotel by the ghost of Julia Lowell, who was a prostitute back in the early 20th century.
She was a Cowtown courtesan now.
Yes. And, she was very popular and very famous in a way. Right. And she, we don't know much about the details of her life, actually, but Clint and John found this story of her haunting the hotel and thought, well, wouldn't it be great to create an opera based on that and create our own version of who Julia Lowell might have been and what might have happened.
Yeah.
And so the opera explores Julia's story. We go back and forth between 1910 and 2010, and it all takes place in one hotel room 315, the room that Julia lived in. And, that's very conducive, obviously, for stage, because it's one set and you don't have to do any scene changes. But then when we started working on it, preparing it as the film, all of a sudden I went, well, this is perfect for a low budget film, because same thing, you don't have to, really change locations. And, I sort of just adapted it to make it work for that. But in the 2010 timeline, Addison she's here to look for Julia's ghost and to convene with her, and we don't know why. And so the opera goes back and forth between the two time periods as Addison pieces Julia's history together, and then at the end you realize why Addison is there. And It's a, it's a thriller, it's a period romance, it's a Western. It is, it has some elements of spookiness, obviously. There's ghost stuff, but it's also a story of redemption ultimately for these two women who find each other. And what a great, strong female narrative. And that's one of the primary reasons why I wanted to be attached to the project initially.
Right. Well, and this was also an all-female cast, or not all-female cast, all-female crew initially for the opera production, and for the most part, that is true, with the exception of the Manley Films folks that were brought in.
Yes, so the conductor and I are both women, and the entire design team as well, yes. Lighting, sets, and costumes. Yeah. And I think that the power that we were able to bring to the story through so many female voices in the room was really something that made the project really successful, yeah. I think. But I do want to give credit to Clint Borzoni, the composer, and John de los Santos, the librettist, who really wrote the piece well. John writes women so well, and I loved collaborating with him, and because John is a director in his own right as well. And so, just creating that trust and that open conversation so early on, and he's just been so lovely the whole process. But also he was a part of the team because he did come in and he did the intimacy and fight coordination for us, and so that he and I really worked together on that as a real team. But it's just been a very positive process.
Yeah, and Clint and John have become close friends of ours through this whole process. Mm-hmm. I mean, we were there from almost the very beginning of Copper Queen, and we didn't get to see the initial workshop that they did here, but we did see the complete run through from Opera America.
Yeah.
And I was stunned, even though it was a horrible Zoom connection and, just piano and just the voices, but it was so incredible. And then to see it completed in the theater. Yeah. Wow. I was just...
Yeah, it was extremely powerful to watch. I'm curious, when you were offered the opportunity to initially direct it, and that's before we went into shutdown, did you have any kind of preparation or pre-production or any initial ideas as to how you were going to approach it before we went into shutdown mode? Because I realized that you were probably approached on this quite some time before you actually had it, before the shutdown happened.
Oh, yeah. I mean, again, it was early 2019 that I became attached to the project, and we started designing really that fall. I mean, it was fall of 2019 was really busy for us, creating the set design, costume design, and how we were going to do the lighting. And so we were in full pre-production mode by fall of 19, and then which is crazy because that's 2 years ago now. It's just so amazing to me how long I've lived with this piece, 2.5 years. And so then after that, by the time March of 2020 came around, the designs were done. I mean, they were getting ready to build the set like imminently, and then they postponed it. And thank goodness, because we had to redesign for the film.
That was going to be
work.
That was going to be my next question, because I remember having conversations with Clint and John years past, and I don't know if this was probably before you were approached on it, but they had kind of this vision of where on the stage there would be two sets, one representing Julia's time, and then another one that was set in the present. And I can see how that would work in the theater setting that we were initially going to be running Copper Queen. So I don't know if that was part of the plan when you were involved, but I'm wondering when it shifted over to film, not necessarily having to scrap your initial ideas, but what kind of shift did you have to make in your thinking? Is like, okay, well, I intended to do this, but oh my gosh, now I can do this. I mean, what kind of went on in that process?
Well, the original design was just the single set, and we would demonstrate the two different time periods through a lighting change, and also perhaps somehow get the main, comforter changed on the bed or something like that, some small things, but it would all have to happen choreographed with transitions, right, in the theater, where Addison, or Julia would have to do it in a theatrical way. But the lighting was the main part of it that we were going to change. And then for the film, obviously, it became a little bit easier in a way to conceive of the shift. The one thing that, of course, film is known for is that you don't shoot in order. And I was a little worried about that, just continuity-wise for the singers. But in the end, I mean, actually, singers are so great at not doing things in order because they can access the emotionality that is necessary just because of the way that they have to sing. So it's never going to be, I think for actors, it's definitely more challenging to ask that of them. But I think, the thing was that we knew that we had to do the 1910 timeline first in order of shooting, because we were going to age the walls for 2010, and also add a light switch and just little things that we needed to do, and so we ended up mostly shooting all of the 1910 stuff first, and then the 2020 stuff.
Does that because the transitions that took place between the two eras are so seamless.
There's one specific transition that is just, it's like, oh my God, how in the heck did they do that?
I mean, it's almost like
it's a cinematographer's trick.
Well, yeah, but at the same time, the production itself was so incredibly compelling that I felt myself pulled into the screen, and that I didn't think that I was watching a movie anymore. It felt like to me I was watching a live stage production. Yeah. And to see that shift happen live, shall we say, because you've got people on the set that, while this happens, was so remarkably seamless that I felt like, okay, where's the time machine? Because how else could you have done that?
exactly.
Right. No, and I think that's continuity is a film nightmare, and
Yes.
that was something that my assistant Haley Staymates really she took on the role of script supervisor and was the eyes of a hawk is what she had to have on set, and also Carrie Muir, who was our stage manager, she also served as continuity queen. So between the two of them, things were so consistent when we had to reset things, when we left a scene and knowing we would have to come back to it to film the transition later on. They would take pictures and we would set everything exactly as it had been. And also, obviously, with hair and makeup, they were taking pictures all the time. And there was, I have to say, just when I went into the editing room in July, I was really bracing myself for the possibility that the continuity with the transitions especially was going to be really challenging, and I was really happily surprised that it was seamless. And I just think because so many people were just so meticulous about it.
Yeah,
and I think you just gave the sequel Continuity Queen.
I'm a continuity freak, or you could call me a continuity queen too, because we watched a movie last night and it was like, oh my God, it just took me out of the film. There was a glaring, at least to me, continuity error. And it's like, my God.
And I notice it all the time now. And I went, okay, we did all right. We did okay, because if there's stuff on Netflix that has continuity issues, then I feel better about myself. I definitely also, Scorsese is notorious for continuity stuff. And you watch any of his films and there's always going to be continuity things. But at the same time, what I learned through this process, the reason why, I love Scorsese and I love his films. And I think that it's true what the editor Walter Murch always said, that he wrote in his famous book, 51% of editing is emotion. And so it means that the emotion should truncate all other things. Yeah. It should be the primary thing that you focus on. And I understood that to be true. Look, there are continuity errors in Copper Queen. I know exactly where they are, but in the moment, sure, we could have used another take to get us more seamlessly in that, but it wasn't as good. Yeah. Whether it was the performance or the camera angle or whatever, the composition of the shot. But I went for, Zach Bender, the editor, and I went for the emotion. We went for the better choice, and that's just what filmmaking is. And that was a huge learning thing for me to learn that.
Well, sometimes you can get by with those continuity things, because I didn't really notice anything in Copper Queen. I didn't notice any continuity issues.
If it didn't jump out, then it must have been subtle.
Exactly. So
pretty good. I'm excited about that.
Because
maybe upon second viewing, you can be a little more meticulous.
I just notice little stupid stuff sometimes. It's like, oh, please.
Yeah.
Anyway, well, there was this scene that we were watching on this movie was an emotional scene. And
it was deep in the background too.
Yeah, and some of it was in the background, and it was a moving background, and they didn't keep it static. Anyway, I just have to say that from the point I got so invested in the characters with Copper Queen, just because of the way it was filmed, the music, the staging, the words,
all of it,
from Still Pretty to the end.
Oh my God.
Was, oh my Lord, I get verklempt just thinking about it.
Yeah.
It is such a beautiful, beautiful piece. And thank you for so much for directing this and taking the time and the care and
because Clint and John managed to create some very raw and real emotions.
Yes.
In the music and in the text, and for you to be able to bring that to life on the stage and have the cast, especially bring that to life as well, is a testament to what you've done. So unfortunately, we're running out of time. God, I wish we weren't, because I feel like we've just scratched the surface on all of this. So all I can ask now is, people need to follow you. If you got any social media presence, people need to follow you, because holy cow, I think your future is going to be a big one. So do you have a social media presence, Facebook, Twitter, anything like that people can follow to see what you're doing?
Yes. Well, thank you. Thank you for that. I really appreciate that. And yes, I am at Crystal Directs on all platforms. So I got really lucky with that one.
Yeah.
So you can find me at Crystal Directs. I'm very active on Instagram, especially, but I'm also on Twitter and Facebook. So you can definitely find me.
Cool. And while Copper Queen has done its initial run of, 2 weeks in Phoenix and 2 weeks in Tucson at a singular theater, each one, what is the future for Copper Queen quickly?
Yeah, well, right now you can go on to thecopperqueenfilm.com and you can stream it until January 2nd. And after that, we're not sure yet, but we definitely are looking for the film to have a life, because we do think that we've created a new genre.
Absolutely.
And we think that we've created something that people outside of the opera world will gravitate towards, and will start to see that opera can be really exciting and transcend what people thought about opera in the past. So I'm very excited for that.
Oh, wonderful.
There's so much I could say about that, but we don't have the time.
Thank you so much, Crystal, for being on our show this time.
Oh, thank you very much.
Hey guys, my name's Gigi Edgley. I play Tiana on Farscape, and I'm the host of Jim Henson's Creature Shot Challenge, and you're listening to the Two Gay Geeks. Big love.
Anytime now.
I know, you hate me for that. Well, here's a few selected birthdays for November 15th through November 21st, 2021. November 15th, Ed Asner, actor who just recently died at the end of August at the age of 91. My God, he
kept going.
So much TV. And he was working till...
right up to the end.
There's like 7 things in post-production that he was lent his voice to. Character actor, most in the late 50s and 60s TV. And Mary Tyler Moore, oh my gosh, hit it big with that.
Yeah.
And then went on to a spin-off.
A serious spin-off.
A serious spin-off as Lou Grant. And then, did a bunch of stuff, and then really kind of made a comeback in his, 80s as Carl in the Pixar film Up. And several of the spin-offs to that, the Doug Days cartoons, shorts that, oh my gosh. And he was actually in a film, The Garden Left Behind.
Oh, yes.
As the doctor of a trans woman. And oh my gosh, just what an actor and what a tremendous human being. Is just amazing. Sam Waterston, actor, Law and Order, Grace and Frankie.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my gosh. He was good friends with Bruce Lee.
Oh, was he?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Then we have Johnny Lee Miller, actor, started his career on Doctor Who.
I knew
he was
that,
in
but I can't remember
the
which
episode Kinda as the Kinda child.
Right.
One of the Kinda child.
Right, that's right.
And then a lot of British TV and the movie Train Spotting, and then came over to the States and did Dexter, so a number of episodes of Dexter, and went on to do Elementary.
Yes.
His father or grandfather was Bernard Lee.
Oh, no kidding.
M from the James Bond films.
How about that?
Yep. November 16th, Gigi Edgley.
Gotta love
Imagine that. I wonder why we chose that. A little bumper there. Actress, singer, Chiana on Farscape, host of Jim Henson's Creature Shop, and several things actually going on in post right now, as everybody, that had anything going during the damdemic here, and a recent mother as of a couple of years ago.
That's right.
Yeah. And then we have Marge Helgenberger, actress, a Ryan's Hope alumni.
I was not aware of that. Oh,
Yeah.
wait a minute. I think she played Faith.
And CSI, or the original crime scene
investigator.
From Vegas. And I hope to see her in the
would,
current,
if
nothing else.
They've got to do a cameo.
At least a cameo.
She has to do a cameo appearance.
Exactly. November 17th, Martin Scorsese. Of course, Crystal just talked about Martin Scorsese. producer, director, so many films. Oh my gosh. Known as the king of the tracking shot.
I believe that, yeah.
And those things are so hard to do. It's just, it's got to be set up correctly. And, you see those things in films, and that he was the one that kind of was the innovator of that, the long tracking shot. And what more do you say about Martin Scorsese?
Oh, I know.
Rock Hudson, actor, leading man in Hollywood, made a number of films with Doris Day, who stayed good friends afterwards. But that was also to cover up his being gay.
Right.
And then he did, a number of movies in the 50s and late 40s, 50s and 60s. And then Dynasty in the 80s. And he wasn't looking so hot. In fact,
yeah, I remember that's when things kind of started to go a little sour.
He died just shortly after his run on Dynasty. He was first major public figure to come out and announce that he had AIDS. Then we have Rance Howard, actor, father of Ron and Clint Howard, born in Duncan, Oklahoma.
Of course he was.
Was an advocate for his sons, both of them, and appeared in most of the TV and films that they made. So with them. And then we have friend of ours, Lori Menengay, and Matt Hines.
Happy birthday.
November 18th. Crazy Uncle Alan Moore.
Oh, boy.
Writer. Oh, my gosh.
Genius, but
prolific
madman.
writer. Yeah. Watchmen, V for Vendetta, League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, among others. Refuses to work with Marvel because of a copyright dispute way back.
I had no idea.
I don't know that he's necessarily reclusive, but he is reclusive to a certain extent.
Yeah.
And refuses to take any licensing fees for films that have been made adaptations because he doesn't like them.
No, he thinks that his material is not adaptable.
Yep. Stephen Moffat, writer, producer, director, Sherlock, Adventures of Tintin, and a little show that you may or may not know.
I think it's called Doctor Who.
Yeah, oh, you do know that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I have almost every episode on videotape.
Yeah, I threw that in there. Alan Dean Foster, writer, Star Trek the Motion Picture, as well as the novelizations of Star Wars.
Yeah.
And currently lives in Prescott, Arizona. And many other works in the sci-fi genre. And then a friend of ours, Donald Black.
I went to high school with Don.
And John Kittleswood. November 19th, Jodie Foster, actress, child actress to the major league actress as an adult. Oh my gosh.
Academy Award winner.
Yep. An out lesbian, has 2 children. And just a tremendous actress. I loved her in Contact. She was
phenomenal.
She was fabulous, as well as several other things that she's done too. Now we have...
Oh my God. I love her.
Allison Janney.
I love her.
Done a number of things, but was absolutely brilliant as C.J. Craig on The West Wing.
Yes.
I wonder if Jen Psaki has taken notes from C.J. Craig.
Yeah, I kind of wonder.
She's very much like C.J.
And I wondered about, we've talked about that. The first time we saw her, actually, when the administration changed, we were watching the White House press briefings, and we kind of made that observation. Like, I sense something similar going on here.
She's done a bit of voiceover. She's actually Peach, the starfish, in Finding Nemo and Dory.
Yep.
A Group Zero film that was recently. I thought it was a cute film. It really had some themes that were, important, and I liked her character as well. She just has so many things in post as well. So, like everybody else. And then we have Brigitte King.
Oh, happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Brigitte. Another, we have to say this again. We met Brigitte and Tom on a cruise like 10 years ago.
And we became friends almost immediately.
Yeah, and we've stayed in touch. But things have just never worked out. We've never been on the same side of the country at the same time.
And whenever we're at Disney World, they're at Disneyland. I mean, it's just frustrating.
Exactly. November 20th, Ming-Na Wen, actress, Oh my gosh, she has gotten around. She has done
Oh my goodness.
everything.
She has become the cavalry for Hollywood.
Exactly. From voiceover to live action, and I do mean action.
Oh, yeah.
As in,
She's
Agents
very-
of S.H.I.E.L.D. to Mandalorian.
I know, she's an action actress.
And upcoming book of Boba Fett.
Yes.
So, just an amazing actress. Edwin P. Hubble, astronomer, helped establish extragalactic astronomy and observational cosmology. He proved that some of the nebulae that people were looking at were actually galaxies outside of the Milky Way.
Oh, indeed.
And so, because they were so faint with the technology that was available that they looked like nebula. And he proved that they were actual galaxies far, far away. In a galaxy far, far away.
Right.
Yes. Hubble Space Telescope was named in honor of him. And then we have friends Chris Farlander, Eugene Glover, and our friend Dr. Judy Wolf.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday. November 21st. Alexander Siddig, actor, DS9, has been in Game of Thrones and Gotham. Among, oh my gosh, he's just continues to work a lot.
He does continue to work.
Has a son with Nana Visitor. Marlo Thomas, actress. She was
Oh my goodness, what do you
in
say
the
about
late
her?
50s and 60s, early 60s. She'd done a number of things. I mean, Sunset Strip and, Route 66 and some other things. But 1965.
That girl.
Oh my God, I loved that show.
Yeah, well, I love it. A lot of people did. That's why it was so popular.
Oh my gosh, Anne Marie. It was just a great. She was, still friends with Ted Bessel.
Indeed.
After the show, and in fact, several days before he died, she encouraged him to go to the doctor before he died of a heart attack.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So, and has done things here and there since then, including voiceover for the Rocketeer TV series in 2020. And has been married to Phil Donahue since 1980.
Yeah.
And known for her considerable charitable work.
Oh, she's an amazing woman.
Yep. And that's it for the birthdays this time.
For generations, people have been asking the big questions, like Batman or Superman,
Star Wars or Star Trek
Marvel
or DC.
So far, these questions have gone unanswered.
Until now,
We're bringing you a new kind of geek.
a manic kind. The Manic Podcast is made for film lovers by film lovers.
Or maybe you prefer a TV binge session.
We've got you covered.
In fortnightly episodes, we take a look at the latest films, fads, favourites and failures.
Now available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, SoundCloud, or wherever you get your podcast fix. Just search Manic with 2 N's.
That's very important.
Go give a listen to our friends over at the Manic Podcast with 2 N's.
I'm Daniel Radcliffe, and I believe that reaching out for help is the bravest thing a person can do. If you are struggling and need support, call the Trevor Lifeline at 1-866-488-7386. It's free and confidential, and trained counsellors are there to listen 24/7 without judgment. To learn more about the Trevor Project's life-saving work for lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, or questioning young people, go to thetrevorproject.org.
Well, we probably the wrong sound.
I think that's the
for
wrong
this.
sound.
The Joshua Tree Feeding Program is a 501c3 nonprofit food pantry for the HIV and AIDS community in Maricopa and Pinal counties. Joshua Tree offers a place where the clients can select from a wide assortment of nutritional foods to take home, and not only foods, but supplements and pet supplies. They set it up like a store so the clients can pick and choose what food they prefer, and it empowers them to take only what they want, so no food is wasted. They also have a second distribution day for those in the gender nonconforming community that may be experiencing food insecurity regardless of HIV status. Joshua Tree is an all-volunteer organization, but they do have overhead, and they could certainly use your help right now. You can give a single gift or a monthly recurring gift, and go to jtfp.org.
And it's time for our feedback. This is a segment where we read comments from articles that we ran on our website at tggeeks.com. And the links for each of these, actually in this case, only one article we're doing feedback from, will be featured in the show notes for this episode at tggeeks.com, episode number 352. And this is all regarding Ben's breakdown. Dune is an artistic achievement, but is also dull. Yes. A lot of people disagreed with me on that one, but I've got some reviews or some comments from people that, oddly enough, they did not disagree with me.
My God, that's going to take you 25 minutes to get through these comments.
I know, there's a lot here. Well, that's why we didn't do this last week.
Right.
Starting off, I got a comment from Mark Ross, who says, I completely agree. Problem is, Dune is supposed to be an epic. Yet somehow the movie never feels epic, it feels empty. The original Dune film, flawed as it was, felt epic. Score, the visuals, extras, set pieces, etc. This film just feels off. Something is missing. You never get the feeling of royalty to the main family. You never see the potential of the prince to become the Messiah. You never understand why the witch became the Duke's concubine. You never feel like the world is lived in and inhabited by people who are interconnected. You get lots of visuals, but painfully little substance. Worse, you see a visual and you never get any kind of thematic thrust or implied anything. Where the original Blade Runner excelled, the visual gave the film a presence and a lot of implied story elements. That latter part, the implied story elements, is Dune's biggest failure. He goes on, for the record, I wanted to like this movie. I really wanted it to be something amazing. I could write an entire diatribe of everything that I thought was done wrong. Sadly, our Messiah was horribly miscast. I had to comment, because it was too good. I normally don't read my own comments, but this one I had to say something. I added, I wanted to like it too. I had such enormous high hopes for it, but it never coalesced into the movie it should have been. As it stands, the Alan Smithy version of David Lynch's Dune is superior. I would even go so far as to say that Jodorowsky's Dune, had that been made, would have been better than what Villeneuve gave us. This movie failed us on so many points, and I just couldn't get behind Timothée Chalamet as Paul. And Mark Ross comes back with one last comment saying, the lead was completely miscast. Also, the music sucked. Nothing compares to the prior Dune score. And we close us all off with one simple little comment from friend Joel Harper. He says, I liked it, but my bar is low for sci-fi. And that is our feedback.
That's our feedback. If you want to leave a comment on anything that we post, whether it's an episode or an article, we would love for you to share your comments, and we'll share those on air. You can do that on our YouTube episodes for the episodes itself, or you can go to tggeeks.com and you can leave a comment directly on an episode or directly on an article. And everything we publish goes out to Facebook. You can comment there. You can comment on Twitter. You can comment on Instagram. We also have a listener feedback line.
You know, if you don't agree with anything in this feedback, hey, why don't you leave us a feedback response?
Yeah, leave us a voicemail.
On voicemail.
We'll play it on air, and you can be famous just like us. To those 12 people that listen.
Yeah.
You can call.
Is it 12 now? Oh, God.
Oh, yeah, I think so. We gained 2.
Oh, my.
Well, we discovered one the other day.
Oh, that's true. We did.
Another one, they said, oh, yeah. You do? You do? You can call 469-TG-GEEKS. That is 469-844-3357. And as always, please play nice. Well, everybody knows that we are huge supporters of independent creators, whether they're filmmakers, comic book artists, writers, or others. We want you to support them by going to their websites, their Etsy pages, their Facebook pages, Twitter, Instagram, wherever you find them. Talk to them, talk to other people about their stuff, buy their stuff. Support independent creators. Thank you. If you are trans or are questioning your gender identity, and if you are in crisis or are feeling isolated and need someone to talk to, or you know of someone in a similar situation, there is a special hotline just for you. The hotline is provided by translifeline.org and staffed by trained counselors who are transgender themselves. The hotline in the U.S. is 877-565-8860. In Canada, it is 877-330-6366. Or you can go to translifeline.org to learn about the important work they are doing. Please reach out for help. You are not alone.
Yeah, baby. They're like two gay geeks. They're together, you know. They're two gay guys and they're geeks. Is that okay?
Oh my God, we actually have time.
Yeah, and we don't have anything on the thing. But I will say...
Well, there's some things we've been missing that we wanted to chat about.
Yeah, there's a couple of things that we've been watching routinely on TV.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's We're Here.
Oh my God.
Oh my gosh, this season is absolutely wonderful.
I could not imagine how they could actually do better than the first season. And the first season was incredible. And I just figured this year we were going to get more of the same, which I would have been happy with, but it's not more of the same. It's simply more and better.
Exactly. And we've been watching what is it? The Lost Code or Lost?
The Lost Symbol. Oh shoot!
The Dan Brown.
It's a Dan Brown series on Peacock.
Unfortunately, it's gotten a little long in the tooth in the last couple of episodes.
They're padding it out and they're stretching it out, and it's beginning to lose its cohesion.
Yeah, I was very excited, and then it began to like, oh my God, really? So we've been watching that. Foundation.
That is fantastic.
My God, you talk about epic.
Yes.
Oh,
my. I said this in my review, you know, there for Dune, that when you're doing the problem with epic novels and why some people don't like to do them is because they're impossible to do them. You know, you either you do them and you fail, or you simply say, there's no way that I can do that. Well, these people, you know, the brain trusts behind Foundation have got it. This is amazing.
Well, they've decided to do it. And they've obviously it's not just one season.
Oh no,
because they're not going to wrap this up.
How do you wrap this thing up?
By any means, you know. But they have given us a compelling story out of Asimov's
that tome
conundrum that he created.
And what started off as a trilogy has become a conundrum that he created. It's this big universal collective work now.
Yeah, and I really am enjoying it.
I'm loving it. And every time, I remember when we got to the end of the last episode, I thought, I have to wait a week?
Exactly.
You're killing me.
I know. And then we're going to have to wait a year here soon.
Oh, God, I hope not.
What else?
Visually, it is spectacular.
Oh, my gosh, yeah. What else are we watching?
We're watching Star Trek Prodigy.
Prodigy.
Prodigy. I know.
Prodigy.
Prodiginy.
There we go. Prodigy.
Yes.
Star Trek Prodigy it's
cute.
It's really cute. I finally, in the middle of this last episode that we watched, I finally had to say, okay, this is a kids show. Don't beat up on them about some of the shortcuts that they're taking,
right?
And the other stuff. This is a kids show on Nickelodeon, so it is geared to kids. You know, you just have to read between the lines and you have to understand the stuff. instead of,
And at the same time, it's trying to bring the virtues of Star Trek into each storyline for the young viewers. So I'm enjoying it.
Oh, yeah.
And I mean,
I think it's cute.
It is cute, and I truly believe it will only get better as the series goes on.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
CSI, we're watching
my
that.
gosh, CSI Las
That
Vegas.
has been great.
Wow. The last episode, it's like, holy cannoli. Well, every episode has been. The cliffhanger is, oh my gosh, what now?
And the cast is really strong.
Yes, it is.
I mean, it's great that we've got our two old leads from the original series, but
Exactly.
I like the new cast. And the gal, the lady who is running this crime lab, I adore her.
Yes.
She's amazing. She is so much fun. Oh, and IMDb's being a bit of a pain in the butt, as always. Yeah, the show is just delightful. Who is that lead actress?
Paula Newsome.
Oh, she's fantastic.
Yep.
She is absolutely fantastic.
She is just incredible.
Mm-hmm.
I love her. I love her character too, and the way she plays that character. She is, I felt like, at the end of this last episode, when the one character walks off, I fully expected him to say, "Yes, Mom."
Almost.
Almost.
She has, there's a maternal quality to her in that character.
She is the mom of the crime lab, and you
absolutely.
will do what I say.
Absolutely.
Because I'm the mom, that's why. Okay, I think that's it, huh?
And it's time for our weekly review. These are the news items that we ran on our website at tggeeks.com this past week, and the links for each of these will be in the show notes for this episode, article number 352 at tggeeks.com, starting with Sunday, November 7th, Nerdy Chupacabras, number 73. On Monday the 8th, TG Geeks episode number 351. On Tuesday the 9th, Ben's Breakdown. This is a repeat because now we're getting into the holiday season, so we're going to start rerunning past.
And we should have run it
holiday
last
themed.
week.
Yeah, we should have run it the week before, but we're going to be doing some holiday themed articles from the past. And this one is Ben's Breakdown. Coco is a beautiful celebration of life, love, and music. And yes, we should have run that in conjunction with Dios de Muertos. On Wednesday, the 10th, Jeannie's Classics, Christmas Classics of Jeannie Koch. Jeannie's Classics.
Yeah, Jeannie's Classics.
Jeannie's Classics. I'm sure she likes that. Nightmare Before Christmas. And back to the news stuff. On Thursday, the 11th, Andrea's Angle. Belfast is simply stunning. On Friday the 12th, Hamish Downey's 5 More Questions with Contrara, a.k.a. Sarah Louise Dean. And on Saturday the 13th, This God Made, hosted by Carlton Tetley, Season 3, Episode 7, Hex.
Carlton's having a hex of a time.
Ba-dum-bum.
Ba-dum-bum.
We have some shout-outs that we need to make. First to Brian Weber, our good friend, also known as Arkle. On Twitter, you can find him as Geek of All Trades, also referred to as Brian the Ampersand List YouTuber. And we mentioned him because he has his Arkle Times Post-Dispatch news, which republishes some of our content from time to time. And while you're looking for all things Arkle, go to his YouTube channel, Arkle Studios. Brian has a number of his projects there. His Cameless, oh my God. His Cameless Shash Grab. I'm screwed now. His Shameless Cash Grab series, which is in season 7, his Rance vs. Zombie series, which has officially ended, but past episodes are still there. He also has his Arkle tier ranks, as well as game videos of Trick and Treat and Star Trek Online. We must also give some shout-outs to a couple of Facebook groups for allowing us to post our episodes and relevant articles on their pages. First, to Gay Geeks After Hours for their moderator saying you can share away our content. So we do. We share away there. Their URL is facebook.com/group/Gay Geeks After Hours, and then to The Gay Geek for the same. Their URL is facebook.com/group/The Gay Geek. And as always, we give special thanks to their moderator, Jeremiah Reeves.
Yes, thanks, Jeremiah. And if you couldn't tell before in some of our episodes, we do this and we don't edit a lot out.
Oh no, we
just
warts
leave it.
And all.
Yeah, warts and all. Lots of warts sometimes. Other places we can be found are Spotify, TuneIn, Stitcher, Amazon Podcasts, as well as where other fine podcasts can be found. Also, check us out on Sci-Fi Radio at 3 a.m. and 3 p.m. Pacific Time on Tuesdays. Listen to their other content. They are a 24-hour geeky internet radio station. Please rate us and review us on iTunes, and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. And that should do it for this episode of TG Geeks Webcast. Be sure to check out the article for this webcast episode. We'll have several links on the page. And remember to comment on our Facebook page or our website, tggeeks.com, or Twitter or Instagram or any place else. Or you can leave us a voicemail, 469-TG-GEEKS. That is 469-844-3357. From TG Squared Studios, I am Keith Lane. Thanks for listening. Please be kind to yourself and those around you. Stay safe, wear a mask, get vaccinated. Peace.
Cheers.